Stop everything. Because this tell-all started with a bang nobody saw coming. Jasmine storms off stage mid-reunion, leaving Gino speechless and the audience gasping. And just when you think it can't get any worse, Andre and Jovi go full-on verbal brawl, throwing tables and accusations like fireworks. The energy was insane, the tension was electric, and every single cast member looked like they'd just been hit by a hurricane. You could literally feel the stage trembling under all that chaos. Hey everyone, I'm Jessica, and welcome to Reality Spots. If you love spilling the hottest 90-day fiancé tea and watching reality TV drama unfold with sharp commentary, make sure to hit subscribe and join the conversation in the comments below. Tell me, which moment shocked you the most? Jasmine walking out or Andre and Jovi losing it completely? But wait, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Backstage, things were spiraling even faster than on camera. Yara's green card is allegedly under review, travel restrictions could hit immediately, and the tension between personal stakes and public exposure is creating a pressure cooker of emotions. Imagine juggling a live fight on stage while also wondering if your future in America is on the line. Every whispered conversation, every side-eye glance, and every off-camera argument was a ticking time bomb, ready to explode in front of the cameras. So buckle up, because what we're about to unpack isn't just about who yelled at whom. This episode is about trust breaking, alliances forming, and lives hanging in the balance, all under the public eye. And trust me, the drama only escalates from here. So stay with me as we go scene by scene through the most chaotic tell-all this season has ever seen. The moment Jasmine stepped onto the stage, you could cut the tension with a knife. Gino was already on edge, every glance charged with unspoken accusations, but nobody expected what came next. It started with a subtle jab, just a comment about past mistakes, but quickly spiraled. Voices rose, hands gestured wildly, and before anyone could blink, Jasmine dropped the first bombshell. The story about the engagement ring and wedding band. The audience went silent for half a second, then erupted in audible gasps. Gino's jaw literally hit the floor. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, Jasmine allegedly revealed that she had been pregnant with Matt. The studio collectively froze. Cameras zoomed, fans at home paused their drinks mid-sip, and the cast looked like they'd walked into a firestorm they couldn't escape. You could feel the air getting thicker, every second dragging like minutes, as Jasmine stood there, visibly trembling between defiance and regret. Gino fired back immediately, pointing out betrayals, mistrust, and emotional wounds that had clearly never healed. The argument didn't just escalate, it became a battlefield where past grievances, unspoken frustrations, and raw emotion collided. Here's why this fight hit different. When conflict hits in front of cameras, people behave differently under pressure. Stress amplifies small irritations into major confrontations. Personal history, ego, and audience expectations all collide, making even minor disagreements feel like life or death battles. Jasmine's walkout threat wasn't just dramatic flair, it was a perfectly human reaction to feeling exposed, cornered, and under public scrutiny. Every whisper backstage, every nudge from producers, only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, the cast's reactions were priceless. Some looked stunned, frozen in disbelief, while others exchanged nervous glances, silently weighing who to support or who might get dragged into the fallout next. And the audience? Eyes glued to the screen, mouths wide open, scrolling fingers paused on every live comment and tweet. Social media had already lit up with hot takes before the first commercial break. The escalation was textbook reality TV, but with a very real psychological twist. When people feel trapped between emotional exposure and public judgment, their behavior can become extreme. Anger, shame, regret, pride, all amplified to a dangerous, captivating cocktail. The tell-all stage became less a reunion and more a pressure chamber, each accusation acting like a spark in a room full of gunpowder. Retention booster line, the stakes keep climbing, rings, alleged pregnancies, and personal betrayals collide, and backstage whispers suggest the chaos is far from over. And yet, through all the shouting and eye-rolling, One question hung in the air like smoke. Will Jasmine stay or finally walk out for good? Every glance, every pause, every tense inhale told us this was far from over. Behind the camera, production scrambled to keep the moment contained, but the truth is, the storm had already taken over. Alliances had shifted, emotions were raw, and the first major tear in the cast's fragile equilibrium had appeared. Nobody knew who would survive the next wave, and every fan at home was holding their breath, wondering what would break first: the relationship, the trust, or the cast itself. The energy was relentless, unpredictable, and impossibly intense. The ring revelations and pregnancy claim weren't just drama, they were a perfect storm that exposed underlying fractures in Jasmine and Gino's relationship. And if you thought that was the peak, just wait. Backstage tensions, side whispers, and subtle provocations hinted that this was only the beginning. Every accusation, every emotional outburst, every stunned pause was setting up the next explosive confrontation on stage. Just when you thought the stage couldn't get any more chaotic, Andre and Joy exploded. It started over what seemed like a minor disagreement, a simple comment that went sideways, but with tempers already frayed, it quickly escalated into a full-blown shouting match. Voices overlapped, hands flailed, and the tension radiated across the room like heat from a fire. Tables weren't just shaken. They were almost threatened. Every cast member froze, some trying to intervene, others wisely choosing to stay out of the blast radius. The root of the fight was classic provocation. Andre felt challenged, Joy felt disrespected, and both let pride and pent-up frustration take the wheel. Defensive behaviors kicked in instantly. Andre's voice sharpened, Joy refused to back down, and suddenly the room felt like it was teetering on the edge of chaos. Tiny gestures, eye rolls, side comments, raised eyebrows fueled the flames, proving just how small sparks can ignite massive explosions when emotions are already charged. Fans online were eating it up, tweeting, posting memes, and speculating on every detail. Some argued Andre was the instigator, others blamed Joy. But the truth is more interesting. Both were trapped in a loop of provocation and reaction, and every reaction made the audience more glued to their screens. Alliances started to form subtly. Cast members like Yara and Jovi aligned against Andre's aggression, while others hesitated, weighing the cost of picking sides in real time. The stage became a chessboard of strategy and raw emotion, and every move had consequences. Meanwhile, subtle humor crept in. Who could resist noticing the way Andre's flailing arms looked like he was auditioning for an action movie? Or Joy's dramatic hand gestures that screamed, "You started this?" Even in the chaos, behavior patterns were on full display, almost like a psychology class in Fast Forward. Every defensive remark, every sarcastic comment was a layer of strategy, ego, and raw emotion colliding. And then there's Andre and Libby, the question hanging over everyone's heads. Would they step in to calm the storm, or fan the flames even further? Libby's presence alone added tension. Every glance, every whisper from her seemed to tilt the room slightly, leaving both the cast and the audience guessing. Could she mediate without making things worse? Or would her defense of Andre ignite the next round of chaos? Retention booster line? Just when you think the drama might settle, the cast's alliances, provocations, and raw emotions are primed to explode again, and backstage whispers suggest the chaos is far from over. By the time this confrontation ended, the room was buzzing with adrenaline. Cast members were visibly shaken, and viewers at home were left debating every word and gesture. The fight wasn't just a physical display, it was a lesson in how emotions escalate under pressure, how alliances form and fracture in real time, and how the smallest comment can become the spark for a wildfire. And as everyone caught their breath, one question lingered. What will Andre and Libby do next? And how far will this tension ripple through the rest of the tell-all? Just when the rooms seemed like it couldn't hold anymore. Tension, Elizabeth, better known as Libby, and Andre stepped fully into the spotlight. Their presence was electric, and not in a good way. Every defensive comment, every strategically timed jab seemed designed to provoke reactions while shielding themselves from scrutiny. Instead of calming the chaos, they became catalysts, turning simmering disagreements into full-blown confrontations. Alliances that were already fragile started cracking in real time. People chose sides subtly. Some aligned with Andre's forceful energy. Others quietly resisted, creating a chessboard of shifting loyalties. The psychology at play here is fascinating. Reality TV thrives on tension, but it's not random. Libby and Andre's behavior exemplifies deliberate provocation paired with self-preservation. They push just enough to ignite conflict, but stay within the boundaries of what the cameras will catch, which keeps the drama rolling without crossing into anything legally risky. And the effect on others? Massive. Natalie tried to mediate. Yara flinched at each confrontation, and Lauren looked like she was calculating how to survive the storm without getting pulled into another skirmish. Even the most composed cast members felt the emotional strain, which is exactly what makes reality TV addictive. The human reactions to pressure become the main event. Every whisper backstage added layers to the tension. Producers scrambled to keep the arguments from escalating into something unmanageable, but off-camera drama was already happening. Cast members were juggling loyalty, fear, and frustration all at once. Yara's immigration scare and Jasmine's earlier confrontations lingered in the air, intensifying reactions. This wasn't just on-stage theatrics. It was a pressure cooker of human emotions, caught between personal stakes and public exposure. Retention booster line, with defensive strategies, subtle provocations, and alliances shifting like sand, the stage is set for fallout that could haunt this cast long after the cameras stop rolling. By the end of this act, it was clear that Libby and Andre's impact would be felt well beyond the tell-all. Emotional fatigue was written across the faces of Natalie, Lauren, and Yara, who were left to navigate a maze of tensions while maintaining composure in front of a live audience. Every interaction, every defensive move, every calculated pause left breadcrumbs of conflict that would almost certainly resurface in future episodes. Even minor comments or gestures could be replayed, dissected, and weaponized in ongoing disputes. The stage had become a microcosm of human behavior under pressure. Manipulations, loyalties, and reactions all intertwining to create a drama that was unpredictable and impossible to ignore. And as the cameras cut away, a subtle but undeniable question hung in the air. How far would the fallout from Libby and Andre's behavior ripple through the group? And who would be left standing when the next wave hit? The tension wasn't just on display, it was a ticking time bomb waiting for the next spark. As the chaos on stage raged, the online world went into overdrive. Social media exploded with memes, hot takes, and theories about every raised voice, every hand gesture, every subtle glance. Fans dissected each moment, replaying clips, pausing frames, and debating who started what, who overreacted, and who was secretly pulling strings. Tweets flew faster than the arguments on stage, and Instagram stories lit up with polls asking, Team Jasmine or Team Gino? The energy was contagious. Online reactions didn't just mirror the drama, they amplified it, turning every cast member's micro-expression into headline news. The cast could feel it too. Every sneer, every sigh, every defensive stance was magnified in real time. Cameras caught their reactions, but they also knew fans were watching, critiquing, and sharing in real time. That constant awareness changes behavior. People get defensive, on edge, and sometimes lash out in ways they wouldn't if the audience wasn't watching. Even the most calculated cast members, Andre, Libby, Natalie, were subtly adjusting, responding to the pressure without making it obvious. The social media storm became a layer of tension that sat on top of the existing emotional heat of the stage. And the fans didn't hold back. Memes labeled arguments as survival of the loudest, comparisons were made to past tell-alls, and hashtags turned minor moments into global talking points. The commentary became almost performative, like a second stage running parallel to the studio. It was wild, hilarious, and sometimes brutal, but it also made the cast hyper-aware, as if every eye in the world was silently judging their every word. Viewers at home, this is where you come in. What did you think of the cast reactions? Did Andre go too far? Was Jasmine justified in walking out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear which moment made you gasp the most. Your opinions matter, because the frenzy isn't just happening on TV. It's happening right now in real life, with fans influencing perception and adding pressure to the cast like a third character on stage. Retention booster line? As online scrutiny collides with backstage tension, every glance, every whisper, and every defensive remark becomes a spark, setting the stage for even bigger explosions. And speaking of explosions, while social media was having a field day, backstage whispers were growing louder about Yara. Rumors of her immigration status being questioned added a layer of real-world stakes that went far beyond reality TV drama. The anxiety wasn't just about who said what on stage. It was about potential life-changing consequences off camera. Fans online were already piecing together timelines, flights, and public appearances, speculating if her U.S. residency could be in jeopardy. The tell-all was no longer just a showdown of words. It was a pressure cooker where every conflict, every revelation, and every social media post had real-life implications. By the end of this section, the audience could feel the tension stretching beyond the studio, creeping into legal documents, fan theories, and the private lives of the cast. And the question hanging over everyone's head? How will Yara navigate this explosive situation, and what will it do to the delicate web of cast alliances? The storm isn't over. It's just shifting backstage, ready to hit with even more intensity. Backstage tension took a sharp turn when whispers about Yara's immigration status began circulating. Verified reports revealed that USCIS was reviewing her green card, citing discrepancies in travel history, overlapping foreign trips, and questions about permanent residency. Leaked internal documents fueled rumors, showing officials requesting clarifications that could impact her legal status in the U.S. Suddenly, the drama was no longer just emotional or relational. It became a high-stakes legal matter that could change the course of her life. Joy's reaction was immediate and intense. Known for being fiercely protective, he was seen pacing, making urgent calls to immigration attorneys, and visibly shaking under the pressure. Every conversation, every document, every uncertainty sent waves of anxiety through him, highlighting the human toll of uncertainty. Yara, meanwhile, oscillated between trying to maintain composure and showing raw vulnerability. On camera, she smiled, joked, and kept the energy light. But behind the scenes, sources confirmed she was deeply worried about potential deportation. The emotional stakes were very real. The cast could feel it too. While most of the earlier conflicts were fueled by provocation and performance, Yara's situation introduced genuine fear. Conversations became quieter, eyes darted toward her for reassurance, and even seasoned cast members like Andre and Libby seemed to tread lightly. It was a rare moment where the theatrics paused and the weight of real-world consequences grounded the room. The psychology of it is fascinating. Stress under scrutiny amplifies every reaction. Relationships are tested, emotional energy is drained, and even previously stable alliances can start to fracture when someone's future hangs in the balance. The combination of public attention, social media speculation, and private anxiety created an intense pressure cooker. Fans were quick to piece together flight histories, Instagram posts, and past interviews to predict outcomes. This dual pressure, being watched and legally scrutinized, added an invisible but powerful layer to the tell-all. Every smile, every eye roll, every defensive gesture now carried extra meaning. The stakes weren't just ratings, they were personal. Retention booster line. With Yara's future on the line, the emotional tension backstage is so high, it feels like the room could explode at any moment, and fans are left questioning who will hold it together and who will crack first. The implications for future seasons are already clear. If Yara's legal status is challenged, it could shift alliances, change storylines, and create ripple effects across relationships. Cast dynamics that seem set in stone may suddenly be up for grabs, and emotional scars from this week's tell-all could define interactions moving forward. While cameras captured some of the anxiety, the real fallout, the whispered strategies, quiet support, and private fears, was only visible to those in the room. Every glance and conversation now carries double weight, leaving everyone wondering, how will this legal storm reshape the group? And who will emerge strongest when the dust settles? Backstage, the chaos didn't stop when the cameras cut away. Crew members reported a room buzzing with tension, exhaustion written on every face. Cast members paced, whispered urgently, or retreated into corners to catch their breath. Alliances that had seemed solid on stage were quietly shifting. Some, like Jovi and Yara, were huddling together, strategizing, while others, like Lauren and Natalie, attempted to maintain neutrality, walking a delicate line between supporting friends and avoiding getting pulled into new conflicts. The psychological toll was visible. Weeks of high-drama filming had left nerves frayed. Even minor interactions could spark irritation, turning small disagreements into full-blown arguments. Being under constant scrutiny, both from cameras and social media, amplified every reaction. When someone threw a glance, paused too long, or questioned a decision, the room could feel electric, as if everyone was waiting for the next fuse to light. It's fascinating to watch human behavior under pressure. The combination of ego, fear, loyalty, and anticipation creates unpredictable outcomes. Amid all this tension, humor occasionally bubbled up, like a safety valve. Someone jokingly mimicked a previous fight, or whispered commentary about over-the-top gestures, giving the room a brief, fleeting relief. These small moments remind us that even in high-stakes environments, people rely on humor to cope, to release tension, and to reset emotionally before the next emotional wave hits. Yara's immigration scare hung over everyone like a shadow, intensifying reactions. Jasmine's earlier walkout, Gino's lingering frustration, and Andre and Libby's provocations layered on top of that, creating a complex web of emotional strain. Everyone was reacting not just to current events, but to the cumulative effect of months of tension, betrayal, and public exposure. Emotional exhaustion became a silent character in its own right, influencing decisions and interactions in subtle yet powerful ways. Retention booster line? With nerves frayed, alliances shaky, and real-world consequences looming, the backstage tension is a ticking time bomb, making every conversation a potential flashpoint for future chaos. By the end of the day, it was clear that these conflicts weren't ending with the tell-all. Resentments were simmering, grudges had been rekindled, and private alliances had shifted in ways that could redefine next season. Cast members left the stage physically drained, mentally taxed, and emotionally vulnerable, all while knowing the public and social media were waiting to dissect every moment. The room may have emptied, but the fallout would continue to echo. The unresolved conflicts, unspoken frustrations, and strategic moves backstage ensured that anticipation for the next season would be electric. Viewers at home could feel it too. The storylines are far from over, and the emotional stakes have never been higher. The big question lingering in the air: who will hold it together when the cameras start rolling again, and who will crack under the pressure? The tell-all may have ended, but the drama is far from finished.